Mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I'm back for another episode. Yes, indeed. Let me officially introduce the show. Let's go. It's a Taste to Consider podcast. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and we are back for another episode. Yes, indeed, part 3 of Friend Like Me, and the final, final episode of this little series. And yeah, I'm ending it here. No more parts to it. It gotta come to a close. So y'all know I've been trying to keep my shows at a certain time limit. So I don't know if this one gonna go over that time limit or not, because I just want to, just end it and I got some clips for you. Just get it out the way and stuff. Yeah. So I can move on, because I'm actually kind of tired of talking about this, because it's like I don't believe in no coincidences to some degree, and I try not to overanalyze or look into things like like I normally do, but I keep running across stuff that I can reference during this episode. And I came across some stuff the past couple of days. I didn't record last week because I was just taking a break. It was a 3-day weekend and stuff like that. All-Star weekend, Valentine's Day, all that good stuff. So I just took a break with everybody else. But I'm back. So, like I said, I'm gonna get through this episode, finish this series, and move on. Man, I ain't even know if I was gonna record today. Honestly, I've been really, really tired this week. I've been really tired. I ain't been feeling like myself and everything, man. It's just been crazy off, and probably because of all this stuff going on energetically, and Mercury retrograde coming up. We just started eclipse season. All these new transits astrologically have been happening. Stuff that we haven't. Some of us that are alive today ain't never witnessed before or gone through before. So it's just a lot of stuff going on, and I just focused on just getting rest. I just been like crazy tired or whatever. I'm just like still coming out of it. Just doing a lot of sleeping and stuff like that. Just, I don't know what the hell was going on, but I'm here. I was like, I gotta record. I ain't trying to let 2 weeks go by and not record, but I wanted to record anyway. I wanted to get to this episode, finish it off, and just move on. So let me see where I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna start off with this first clip right here. I feel like I played this clip on part 2, but I probably didn't, because I didn't highlight it. I ain't highlighted on my outline. So I'm gonna pull this clip up. It's a continuation of one of the clips that I played, I think, during part 1. I'm not sure, but it comes from therapist Kier, one of the people that clips I played on the show before. And it's speaking to the friendship aspect, and just how to follow up. How to follow up when you having conversation with your friends and stuff like that. And it's specifically, it's talking about men at that. And I thought this was a great clip, because it's something that I never thought of before. You just ask your friends and stuff, your boys or whatever, how you doing, or what's up, what's going on, what's been going on. You get an answer, and it's just left there. So here we go.
Sometimes as men, it's hard to ask follow-up questions. Everybody knows they bros, and one thing the bros love is finding a solution. Bro won't even acknowledge his feelings before you start trying to find a solution. Use it to your advantage. Man, I broke up with my girl. Man, my daughter not talking to me. Don't ask, man, what happened? Because it sounds like it's the catalyst to gossip, right? And we only like drama when it's in the NBA. Yeah. Wink, wink, right? But what you ask them is, hey, bro, how you managing that? How you taking care of yourself through that? What are you doing to be okay? And allow him to steer that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Lean into them follow-up questions, bro. That's not being nosy. That's being intimate. That's being a good friend sometimes.
Yeah, so I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. And him giving examples, that's what's the big thing. I think a lot of times you got these influencers, content creators, therapists, and stuff like that. They don't really, and I'll just say I'll just say the just the therapists and like the coaches and stuff like that, people like that. A lot, I ain't gonna say a lot of times, it's a group of them that just want the clout and they not really helpful with their content. And I can appreciate, I always appreciate when you giving examples and stuff like that. And when you just, I don't even want to say this, but I gotta say it, but I but I can't follow up with it. It's a lot of therapists out here that just care more about being celebrities or celebrity therapists than really helping people or whatever. But that's another topic for another day. But um, I definitely understood what he was saying when he was like, if you just sit there and just jump to just asking what happened, that it can make a man feel guarded because no matter, I've said this plenty of times before on this podcast, no matter what some dudes say, there is a silent secret competition amongst men, and the intentions is what the intentions are with that competition and stuff like that. That's for the actual person to answer, but it can come off as gossipy, and it could make a dude just get very guarded because most men are secretive anyway. I don't want to say secretive, but um I guess secretive, guarded, somewhere in between that. I guess it all depends on the extreme of their secrecy or them being guarded. Because I can say, on just speaking for myself, I can be guarded and I can be secretive. And I have my reasons for both, but naturally I'm always going to come off as secretive. And I just been that way my whole life. I just don't volunteer information or get into a lot of information about the deeper parts of what's going on with me with just anybody. I may talk about stuff on the podcast about things that I've gone through, but I only keep it to a certain topic, and I only give you but so much because the rest is for me, God, and whoever I really, really trust to go that deep with. And there's not a lot of people that I can do that with. It's really on one hand, and it's probably only one, maybe two, maybe three fingers. But yeah, it could come off as, you trying to be all in their business or whatever. And then, like I said, no matter what a guy tells you, at some point they are in some sort of secret competition with one of their friends. I ain't gonna say all dudes, but majority of dudes, yeah, because it's just naturally, and that's what a lot of people tend to forget about when you have these conversations about people interacting with each other, communication, relationships, any type of relationship, not just romantic relationship, any type of relationship, is that, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Um, damn, where was I headed? I lost it that fast. Oh yeah, the human nature part of it. Like, guys act a certain way, and that's based off of their human nature. and women act a certain way, and that's based off of their human nature. But we tend to forget that and leave that out in a lot of these conversations, and in a lot of our thinking and reasoning and perceptions and stuff like that. So the human nature of a man is to be competitive. And I mean, let's not forget that fact. And whether a guy wants to admit it or not, there's some point they're going to be in secret competition with their friend or some other guy that's in their vicinity. It's just like the animal um animalistic nature of being a guy. you know. Um but yeah, I thought that was great, the examples that he gave like that. So like I saved the video for myself so I can go back and look at it and get those follow-up questions in my head so I can be prepared when I'm in situations where I'm having a quote unquote intimate conversation with one of my boys or friends or whatever. I said quote unquote intimate because you know how guys are. If you you say that word with each other, it kind of comes off a way, unfortunately. But that's where we are still in in certain spaces. But it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. No judgment from me. But let me see where I'm at. All right. Yeah, but I came across this. I came across this post, two posts this week that kind of relate to each other. So I'll just start right there, and I'm gonna play this clip. One is a clip, and one is a post. So I'm gonna play this clip and speak on it. Let me get down to it. All right, here we go right here.
Some of y'all are missing the opportunity of a lifetime. The opportunity of a lifetime to go on a crazy, amazing journey with someone who's starting from nothing, where no one knows them, to becoming an absolute legend. Some of y'all have friends that are literally legends in the making, and you have no idea. You're not supporting them. You're not doing anything to help them. You're just kind of like trying to play cool and waiting for strangers to show admiration to them before you tap in and realize that they're dope as shit. So if you have some friends that are very talented, that you see are trying hard to be somebody and do things, support them. They'll appreciate that the most.
And I pretty much segued the way into that clip with me already talking about this secret or silent competition amongst amongst guy friends or whatever. And what stood out to me with that clip is like I mentioned it already a little bit in part one. Friend like me, I just don't get how you can say that you're friends with somebody and you're not supporting them. And it don't have to all be in the same way, but just some type of support, And particularly what stood out to me with that clip, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm a legend in the making or anything like that. I'm very confident in my talent. Although I do have insecurities, I thought I was thinking about that when I was in the barbershop today. The push and pull between confidence and insecurities, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to make that a topic for the show. But back to the video. I'm very aware of the talents that I have, and I know I also have other talents that I haven't really tapped into yet because of insecurities or whatever. And it can be frustrating to see support that your friends give to what's popular, whether that be celebrities, whether that be random influencers, because I don't look at a lot of these influencers as celebrities. They just not. But you see that, and it's like a common topic that pops up on social media every now and then. But it can be frustrating to see your friends go out their way to support celebrities that don't know them, won't give them the time of the day, wouldn't pick up a piece of paper that they was holding that dropped on the ground while the celebrity was walking past them type, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the way people are, people just want to be seen so bad, and they want to be connected to something something that is already quote unquote great, or popular or whatever, because it makes them feel included, and but it's kind of messed up when your friend's sitting back waiting until you get popping, and then they right there acting like they your biggest supporter, or now they your biggest supporter, when they could have been that during the process and even been part of it in a ground level space where they can come with you. But they think they can come with you now because you popping, and they said, y'all was friends, or they said that y'all was friends and stuff like that. Y'all get what I'm saying? But it was like another it was actually two other posts. This one right here, it says it's weird for a friend to never it's a question. Is it weird for a friend to never like a story, a post, or nothing? And when I saw, I was like, yeah, absolutely. It's weird. It is weird. It's weird as hell. I used to fall back on saying anything about it because I didn't want to rock the boat or make people feel weird. But I know just me. Like, I'm the type of person that I'll support even if I don't, I've seen videos, posts, stuff like that, or, you know what I'm saying, they got a book or a podcast or whatever it is. I'll support it, whether I'm buying it or I'll listen to a few minutes, or I may not listen to it, but I'll share it, or, you know what I'm saying, something like that. Buy the book, something like support in some type of way. Hitting you up, yeah, man, I listened to such and such, man, that joint was on point, good show, whatever, good book, good whatever, you know what I'm saying, buying your merchandise or anything like that. And it's just crazy, like, the reciprocation of it is not the same. And it's like people, it be people that I used to be cool with from like high school and stuff like that, or people that I just met through social media, that I've had just random conversations with through the DM or comments and stuff like that. That will support me more than the people that claim to be my friends and family and stuff like that. It's just weird. It's weird as hell. And this last post that I came across this week that ties into that clip and that other post is this right here. And it's part of that, that secret hate. And it's crazy because even my barber was talking about this today. My barber was literally talking about this today. And it says, people be scared you gonna outshine them, not knowing you the type to put them on too. These niggas move off of ego, not loyalty. And that's a thing for people. People so stuck into their secret competition if they got something else going on, or even if they don't have nothing going on, but they want to have something going on, but they just don't have the will, the desire, or the confidence to do it. So they'll hate. And they don't want to see you. They don't want to see you shine. Like my barber, he was even describing it today. He was like, he used me as an example. He was like, people will hate on you so much that they hate it when people talk about you in the room. He started acting it out. He was like, man, don't say Dirk's name again. I'm tired of hearing about Dirk. And I didn't even bring this to him. I didn't even tell him what I was talking about on the podcast and anything like this. This was just like confirmation for me to just keep going and to make sure that I bring this shit up on this episode, because the way I'm feeling is valid, and I've been quiet too much to make other people feel good. You know what I'm saying? When I wasn't putting myself first, or you know what I'm saying, just holding back too much just to make people feel comfortable. And one of the things I do know about myself is my demeanor can come off, like I've talked about, my demeanor can come off as very strong. Um, excuse me, burp number one. Even my silence can come off, burp number two. I ain't even drinking. But I gotta, I already know I have a presence. Like people have told me that my presence can be intimidating at times. My silence can be intimidating. It can make people feel uncomfortable. It can make people feel insecure if they already have them insecurities. It's not like I'm doing anything. It's just what they already got going on within themselves that my presence seems to be pulling out of them. Like my whole goal has always been to get along with everybody. I put people first over myself too much. I've been doing it too long, too much. And you know what I'm saying? I just want everybody to get along. Like I'm sitting here like Rodney King, can we just all get along type shit? Because I believe in working together. I know the power of working together. No matter, despite how much I isolate myself and stuff, I understand the importance of community. I understand the importance of connection. I understand the importance of working together to build something. And just going off a tangent outside of the friendship, this is why the black community is the way it is, because everybody is in competition with everybody. Everybody wants to be the one. Everybody wants to be the smartest person in the room. Everybody wants to have the most money. Everybody wants to be the funniest. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is trying to be better than everybody and thinking if they pull the other person up, or that if the room or the collective sees the other person as better than them, that their value is worth nothing. That's why you think about it. Just think about the music industry and stuff like that. When it comes to our R&B, rap and stuff like that, it's always got to be one. Even with sports, it always just has to be one. Always got to be one. And it's just crazy that it's like that. But that's why we will stay suffering, because of that crabs in the barrel mentality. Everybody trying to pull each other down. Nobody ain't really trying to pull each other up. We not. But I promise, me being quiet, me having the presence that I have is not personal to you. I don't think I'm better than you. I don't think I'm smarter than you. I don't think I can lift more weights than you. I don't think I look better than you, whatever it is. I'm trying to keep myself afloat. That's the craziest thing about it. People will have these thoughts, these preconceived notions of you and this hate for you and stuff like that, and don't even understand how you're just trying to keep your head above water. Like, it's just crazy. But it is what it is. You can't control people's responses or their reactions to just existing. And I'm not even talking about talking. I'm not saying just existing, like just being in the room. Just being in the room. Oh man. Let me see where I'm at. Trying to think if I brought this post up. Let me see what else I had here. But it's enough. It's definitely one thing that I got on here. On my outline, the strong friend stuff. I get it. we spend too much time hiding behind being strong. And I'm just speaking from my own experience, lived experience, trying to be the strong friend, looking as though that you have it all together, coming off as you have it all together, and like I just said, you just trying to keep your head above water. You struggling to survive mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You just trying to survive. Being the strong friend or whatever else type of label you want to put on it is not a badge of honor. Like I just said, like community is important. Having a village is important. All having friends is important. Having relationships is important. Like even in the midst of me going through my isolation, I understand and realize that. I didn't get it until I started going to therapy. Really get it, I'll say. I knew how it made me feel when I had that community and stuff like that. Just going back to the past when I was uh, a young boy from age 11 up to probably I'll say a little younger, probably 9. No, no, it had to be 11. From 11 to maybe like 14, and when I had that community, um, when I was into the church, and it was a lot of male presence in the church, and how important that was for me as a young man. You know, especially as being as though that my dad was in the house, but he didn't have a we didn't have a relationship. We didn't have a close relationship. His presence was there, but the emotional support wasn't there. So that time I had in the church with the male presence in the church was valuable for me. Like even though I've gone through the things that I've gone through mentally and emotionally, and the things that I may have missed out on because of the relationship that I didn't have with my dad, I think I would have been even worse off if I didn't have that relationship, those relationships that I had with the men in the church, because that laid a foundation for me to understand how important it was for a community of men to it was important for a community of men to be a presence for young boys and young men. It really was, because like it was so impactful on me. Like I can picture certain situations right now from that portion of my childhood, and the feelings that I get from it are positive feelings. They're reinforcing how great of an impact that was on me. And this stuff from that same time period that I can't remember, but I was told that happened, or I just can't, my mind can't get there. But that impact, that positive impact from being around those black men in the church, I can remember it like it just happened. Like seriously, I can remember it like it just happened. And that's the importance of us as black men to have these relationships amongst each other, so we can transfer it, to the young men today. Cause it's lacking, and we can and us as black men, we can understand that. how, the combativeness, the aggressiveness amongst each other can is because of the lack of balance, the lack of discipline, the lack of self-regulation, And if we didn't get that from any men in our life, then the few examples that we had of regulating ourselves comes from a woman. And unfortunately, women are more emotional than men are. And I'll say this, I say this, and it's not all women. Just because women are emotional don't mean that they're emotionally mature or emotionally intelligent. And when it comes down to it, a woman can't teach a young boy how to regulate himself the proper way that a man can. But that's another topic for another day. Trust me, I got it on the list. But those, those that those male presence, that male presence and those examples are, very important and can be impactful. But even just, rewinding or just coming back to the strong friend stuff and all that, it's not a badge of honor, man. It's not a badge of honor. Like some people like to make it a badge of honor because is honestly is us guarding ourselves. We're guarding ourselves. It's easier to say, well, I'm the strong friend. I'm the one that all got to be there for everybody. I don't need that much and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a lie. I mean, do some people need more? Do some people need less? Yeah. But you can't just sit there and say that you got to be there for everybody. It don't work that way. It just don't. I'm sorry, it don't work that way. I mean, like just doing these 3 episodes and just all the stuff that I've gone through over the past few years with people and relationships and going to therapy and understanding myself more and stuff like that. Man, some stuff is just basic human needs. It's just basic human needs. We didn't come here. God didn't have us come here for us just to be alone. Like, if you want to just be technical and run to the Bible and stuff like that, if that was the case, he would have just left Adam alone. Like, we need community. We need people. We need relationships. You don't really grow until you start having relationships with people. You can learn all the stuff you want to learn, but until you apply that shit to the real world and then your relationships with people, it don't matter. And that's one of the first things I learned when I started therapy. Like, I can learn all this stuff I want to learn about myself and why I do this, why I talk this way, why I look at things this way, all that crazy stuff. And I can say I'm getting stronger and stronger, but I'm just obtaining information at this point. You're not really testing your mental muscle or your emotional muscle until you get out there in the world and you start dealing with people again. You start dealing with the world. Like, you could have gone through a bad breakup, just piggybacking off of that first clip. Gone through a bad breakup, start going to therapy, saying, I want to heal from this breakup, but I also want to learn why I was acting this way in the relationship, or why I was looking at things in this way in the relationship. But then at the same time, you guarding yourself from getting into another relationship. It don't mean nothing. Like, let's be for real. Women do it all the time. They say they staying away from men and all this other stuff. F men, all men are the same. All men are dogs and type stuff or whatever. And as long as they stay that way and they think that they growing, going to, getting whatever help that they getting, whether it's through some woman empowerment stuff, some coach or a therapist or whatever, and you not testing that out in the world, how you gonna know you really healed or you got strong or whatever? Because if you so stuck on that mentality of all men are the same or all men are dogs and F men and stuff like that, and you in therapy, then you really not growing. You really not growing, because I know I'm going all way off. Let me just move on. But y'all get what I'm saying. Like, you become wiser, you become stronger, you become smarter by interacting with people, having connections. Like, I love having conversation, even though I'm not the most talkative person in the world, and it's not because I'm not talkative. Part of it is that, but majority of it is that I'm just guarded, but I do enjoy stimulating conversation. I'll say that, stimulating conversation. I'm not a big fan of small talk, so to speak. I know a lot of people say that, or at least that's what they say on social media. But I'm really not a big fan of small talk. It really does nothing for me. I'd rather just be quiet. And that's probably why a lot of times when I am around people and stuff like that, I don't talk, because a lot of time all they're doing is having small talk. And that just doesn't interest me. And I just rather just keep my business to myself than have surface level small talk. And that's just how I look at it. I just don't want to have no, especially with people that I don't really have a connection with. And then now I'm thinking about it and I'm fleshing it out even more. Like, if I don't have a connection with you, I don't want to have small talk with you. I feel like it's pointless, honestly. And some people may say, well, maybe that small talk will develop into something with more depth. And it possibly could, but majority of the times it don't. And I've already, and this is probably a bad thing, so I'm not saying this to say that this is a good thing, but most of the time I've already came to the conclusion, yeah, I don't want to have no type of talk with this type of person, because they already coming off a certain type of way to me that, I know I'm not going to vibe with them. Or part of this small talk, I feel like it's performative or it's passive aggressive, and I know I tell you, I got stories for days of how people would just don't like my presence. And I used to think that I was making this up, but man, I ain't making this shit up no more. Like, I do have, my presence for some reason makes people uncomfortable. It just does. Like, I've noticed, like, the dudes that I vibed with, they seem to be more confident in themselves, and they're open. And I've noticed guys that have insecurities or come off as guarded or passive aggressive, those the ones that I make uncomfortable. And so it's not like me saying that I make every dude uncomfortable, because I be in the gym all the time, and dudes will come up and talk to me, but their energy shows that they're not insecure, that they're open, and I'm able to have conversations with them. And I see them in the gym and be talking to them all the time. You know what I'm saying? But then I also see guys in the gym that come off insecure or come off as though they're being performative in the gym. So that's what's showing their insecurity, or they're trying to size you up type stuff like that. And those be the ones that I can tell my presence is making them feel uncomfortable, because I just be in the gym in my own, like, and when I'm in the gym, I got tunnel vision. I'm in there because I got a small period of time to get my workout in during the day. And when I'm in the gym, it's like once I put them headphones in my ear, I turn into a machine. Like, I'm just focused on building muscle. That's just simple as that. Like I turn into a daggone machine or robot in the gym. But those are, I mean, that's pretty much my experience right there. Like I can tell the dudes that I'm making uncomfortable, I'm going to make uncomfortable, and I can tell the dudes that are genuinely just vibing. You know what I'm saying? Just vibing out. But I came across another post, and I had this on the phone outline for a while, and I kept coming, and it ties into basically what this episode has been talking about, and I forgot where I saw this quote from, but when I heard this quote, I was like, dang, that lines up, and it says some people in your circle, but not in your corner, and that's for real, bruh. That's for real. And it's just like, bruh, if you got an issue with me and you not man enough to talk to me about it, then that's your issue. That's your insecurity. That's your projection. Whatever. That's on you. But I'm just like, bruh, I'm always been I've always been this way. And that's crazy. Because I'm like, if I don't like you, you're gonna know I don't like you. I'm gonna tell you in some type of way, whether it be directly or you're gonna know. And I've never wanted to be around nobody I don't like or I can't tolerate. So I'm like, that always confuses me. Like, bro, if you don't like me, why the hell are you around me? Why? Like that shit is fake. That shit is fake to me, and I see it all the time. But it is what it is. I mean, yeah, I'm I'm moving in a direction where I just don't give a no more. I just don't. I don't. I just don't care. And I've always been like that to a degree. Like when I was younger in my 20s, I was like that. It was like that on a larger scale. My 30s, I started to calm down a little bit. I started falling deeper into my mental depression and anxiety and stuff like that. Now it's like in my 40s, and now that I'm coming up on my mid 40s, I'm just like, bruh, I really don't care. I do not care. Like, I do not care about a lot of things right now. Like, I want to say this on the pod, but this got something to do with uh this got something to do with my job. So I don't think I should say it, but I've been I've been I've been on my Office Space vibes. And anybody know Office Space? It's a cult classic. Office Space. I've been on my Office Space vibes. And I've always been a big fan of that movie. And I would never I never thought that I would get to that point, but I'm at that point now. I'm at that point in damn near every area of my life now. And if I'm not there yet, I already see is developing into that because, bruh, I am tired of draining myself for people who that don't give me the same energy, that don't reciprocate the same energy, that don't reciprocate the same care, the same love, whatever you want to call it, whatever vibe you trying to you trying to throw out there, bruh. It's over with. It's over with. I'm laughing so hard now because like I be walking around the house and I be thinking about past scenarios and I be like, damn, why did I let that shit go? Damn, I've been letting this shit go for too long. Oh man. Let me see what the time is. So I'm pretty much coming up on that time. And I think I'm pretty much uh gone through everything, but I'll say this to end it off with like the just being a black man, period, and we gotta really be careful with our isolation, with, excuse me, burp number 3, 4, 5. We gotta be careful with our isolation. We gotta be careful with that loneliness. With that, we gotta be careful with our pride, and our ego, and not being open to having community, and being open, and that word vulnerable, and transparent. Like I talked about it on part one, how that word vulnerability scares men. It scares men, particularly black men. It scares us because as a black man, just speaking for myself and a lot of black men out here, we feel like we got to be on guard 24/7. And we started so young being on guard that it's hard for us to get out. We built that habit up so much. It's a form of PTSD. I'm not a licensed professional, but I know what PTSD is. And a lot of us have PTSD, whether it could be to the highest extremes to the lowest. We got PTSD. We're very guarded because that's all we know. But we got to find a way to build better communities and learning how to be more open and transparent with each other, and not, care about what the other thinks, or what we think the other is going to think, or whatever. I think that's really what's holding us back, because we won't take that first step. We'll never open that door. We'll never get through that door if we don't take that first step. Never. And it's almost like a lot of us are waiting for the other to do it. When in your circles, a lot of us are waiting for it, for somebody to walk through that door first before they do it. And I've tried my best, first and foremost for myself, going to therapy and stuff like that. When I got to the point of, sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when I really had to do it for myself. I know I've been an example for other black men. They'll hit me up and tell me and stuff like that. When I first started my blog and stuff like that, when I was initially started my solo podcast and I was talking about certain things, I was an example. And that's ultimately what I want to be. I'm not trying to be anybody's savior. I just want to be an example. I want to be an example because I know how difficult it is. And I know that us as black men, we got to get to another level. We got to get to another level and start taking back what was stolen from us. And when I say stolen from us, I don't mean anything outside of us. I mean internally. We really do. So, yeah, we just gotta get to that point, man. And like, it starts with these circles, these friendship groups. That's where it really starts before it starts going out into the world. Honestly, it really do. I I'm genuinely glad that I've took the time to talk about this topic in 3 parts. I could have done all of this in one episode, really. I've talked over 2 hours before, but I think it was cool that, I broke it down into these 3 parts. I appreciate the feedback from it so far. I appreciate the nosiness from it so far. To see if I was going to say something, some gossipy stuff or some dirt type stuff. But nah, at this point, man, I'm saying what I need to say. I'm saying what I have to say, what's been on my mind, what's been on my heart. stuff that I've held back, and it just is what it is, man. I'm just tired of worrying about what the hell people think. I really am. Like I I think that degree has gone beyond 100 at this point. Like, but this has been a Taste to Consider podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, download. Shout out to the new subscribers. Shout out to people who watched on YouTube. Shout out to the people who listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the people who shared the post and of the episode, the clips, couple of clips that I put out there. I don't want to clip everything up because I actually want people to just go listen to the whole episode. But, is whoever listens, I appreciate you. I appreciate you dearly. I appreciate you for taking the time out because I understand the way society is these days. People ain't got the patience or the overstimulation that people just gotta be click, 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 moving or whatever, and they just can't settle. They can't just ground themselves. So I appreciate you taking these 40 minutes out of your day, or even if you stretch it out to multiple days, which is, I don't see what the problem is about that either. But yeah, it is what it is. It's been another episode of a Taste to Consider podcast. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and I am out, and I will see you next time, next episode, next taste. Let's go. All right, I'm coming through with a very late addition to this episode. This is days later. I'm glad I didn't start editing. Now I'm going to have to do more editing. But I came across a post a few days after I finished recording. And let me pull it up. And I was just like, I got to add this. I got to add this to the episode to just, to end it off for real. And I kept forgetting about this portion of the friendship aspect of men. I mean, I mentioned it a little bit, but this particular part right here, and I came across, I was on Threads. I'm never on Threads. I was on Threads, and I came across this thread. It says the reason male friendships are successful is mainly because guys have mastered one very important concept in life. It isn't that deep. And it pissed me off. It not necessarily pissed me off, but it frustrated me. Yeah, it didn't piss me off. It frustrated me. It frustrated me to the point where I was like, I got to respond to it. And this thread had a lot of traction to it. And I was like, I got to respond to it because I be on Twitter all the time and sometimes Threads, and there's so much black and white statements that's on these social media sites, all of them, period. And a lot of these sayings or whatever, they just so black and white, they have no context in anything. And people eat it up because they just looking for some sort of confirmation bias or whatever. And there's so much context to communicating in scenarios and relationships and stuff like that you just can't just hold stuff at just one little 20-second clip, one little tweet, one little thread, one post or whatever, and just leave it at that. But that's the way society is these days. And a lot of people, like I said, just be looking for confirmation bias and validation. But like I said, I responded to it. I said, nah, we mastered no emotional depth with each other, leading us to continue suffering in silence, suffocating ourselves. Like, we think it's this big badge of honor because the male friendships don't have as much drama as the women friendships, which is weird or whatever. But not to bring women's friendships into it or go deep into that. Men friendships, like I've been saying these past 3 episodes, we lack emotional depth. And that's why we're suffering in silence. That's one of the reasons why we're suffering in silence, because we won't, a lot of guys won't go to therapy. We won't talk to nobody because valid reasons, whether it's been weaponized against us when it comes to our relationships with our women. And I'm not saying all, but then also at the same time, we have this fear of vulnerability, which I've talked about on the 3 episodes, and how that word vulnerability, I agreed with Jason Wilson that it scares men. To hear that word vulnerability, it scares men. And we need to start reframing it, just like, Jason Wilson suggested, to being open or transparent. But like I've been saying on these past 3 episodes of Friend Like Me, is that we got to get to the point where we're having more emotional depth between each other. Because if we're not going to talk to a therapist, we need to talk to somebody. And wouldn't it make more sense for us to talk amongst ourselves? Because particularly black men, we talking amongst ourselves because we pretty much go through the same things. We have similar experiences, similar stories. So wouldn't that be, the ideal place to have certain conversations? And that can lead to going to therapy. That can lead talking to some type of counselor. That can lead to talking to a pastor. It can lead to feeling more comfortable talking more, having more emotional depth. Not just hanging out because you got similar interests, or, you're there watching sports or getting together just to drink, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But let me finish it off with this clip. I saw this clip like a few minutes after I typed that thread and responded. And let me pull that up, because it was just like, wasn't I just saying this? Wasn't I just saying this? All right, here we go. Where's the clip? All right, here we go.
Men, like the human beings that we are, that also suffer. Yes, our sisters suffer, but our brothers suffer in a different way. We suffer in silence.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Because there's shame in when we are short.
Crying or this. I
You
always
understand?
say, as a woman, I can call my homegirl and cry for hours.
And she's not going to judge you at all.
She's not going to judge me.
Yes.
I can speak on that. Men, they can't. When they usually call their homeboys, let's go out.
Okay, watch this. Look, remember the little viral clip, P, when they, they'd be like,
yes, good night.
Hey, hey, man, I just wanted to call you. Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams. Are you going through something? You trying to kill yourself?
Why you call me with sweet dreams?
What is you with the sweet dreams?
Yeah.
It was hilarious because everybody laughed because they know it's true.
Yeah.
You can't hit your brother with a, yo, man, just trying to see if you're all right. Everything is cool.
There you go, right there. We can't do it. We get uncomfortable when somebody else is getting emotional. And the guys who do that, it's because they haven't tapped into their own emotions yet. So it makes them feel uncomfortable to see another guy be emotional or show some type of emotional depth or something, because it's a mirror. For black men, it's a mirror. It's a mirror for us to see another black man being emotional. And if you haven't done any type of work, you're not used to having emotional depth with your conversations, then it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. So we shame each other. We'll joke on each other. We'll be passive aggressive little jokes or something like that on each other. You know what I'm saying? I've gone through it. And that's what would shock the hell out of me. When I started my blog back in 2017 and revealed that I was struggling with depression and anxiety for majority of my life, I would get little smart little comments and jokes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought you was the mental health guy and all this other stuff when certain scenarios come up. So it's just like, where's this, you know what I'm saying? Where's this coming from? And then I would still get into situations where people would take my being quiet, being reserved, nonchalant and stuff, and still take it the wrong way, like I'm acting as though that I'm better or something like that. Even with me being open about the struggles that I've gone through and the things that I was still struggling with at that time. So it made me push back. It made me push back and stop sharing a lot of the stuff with the world, with people, period. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't getting support the way that I thought that I should. Even, you know what I'm saying, outside of my guy friends. I would get it, you know, just from men and women, period. And that's not to say that that was happening all around, you know what I'm saying? Because I was getting a lot of good feedback as well. So it was just that I wasn't ready for the two sides, you know what I'm saying? the good and the bad from sharing all of this. I wasn't, you know, because I was just basically all on my own at that point with the blog and talking about it when I first started the solo podcast. I was, you know what I'm saying, just running by myself. I wasn't having these conversations about my blog and the podcast and me being more open and transparent with my struggles in the past and the struggles that I was dealing with at the time. So I wasn't able to talk with my therapist about that and, you know, get feedback on how to handle those situations. So it overwhelmed me, you know, but I'm finally at the point now where, you know, I've gone through so much over a 14-year stretch that I'm able to be more resilient in these situations where people act funny. But I had to come on here and do this real quick, add this to the episode. You could tell I'm dressed different. This has been days. I don't normally start editing the show right after I record anymore now. I let some time go by. So the show is definitely going to be released a day later than it normally would be. So if you're watching right now on YouTube or listening right now on one of the streaming services, yeah, this is why. I had to add this little piece in, and I appreciate you taking the time again to listen, to watch. Shout out to all of you. Taste to Consider podcast. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and I'll be back next week.